We're going to head over to Pulse in the interview lounge, standing by with Visit Chachi.
Thank you very much, guys. And as you just mentioned, I'm here with Chachi after that 1-1 performance, and the crowd already going ham about the next game, but we're going to touch on the last one. So first game went pretty well for you guys. Second game, not so hot. Speak to me about what happened in those games.
I'm not entirely sure about the second game yet. Maybe we underestimated the Azir pick a bit, and also their siege potential. We went into the game with the mindset that we might be the ones that siege up turrets, and they have to engage on us. But it was actually the opposite in game. So maybe it's a bit of misdraft. Maybe we just misplayed. We will have to see the replay.
Maybe, but you guys have still been on the upswing over the last 2 weeks. I mean, like, you had 2 weeks where you went 0-8. Now you're 5-8 in the last 2 weeks. So obviously Unicorns have been improving. So what were you trying to improve on, and what has made you so good right now?
I think our mistake before was that we had fighting issues. So when we had like decently good macro, we had early leads, and after we couldn't really abuse it because our fighting was just not up to the level. So that's what we were looking to improve in scrims, and I think we improved a lot on that regard, and like the macro all the time. So I think right now maybe there were some macro mistakes in this game that could have turned the tides for our favor. Like 1-3-1 is a bit different than 1-4 because we have 2 split pushers with teleport. So I think we can execute this a bit better.
Yeah, just improving kind of all over the board a little bit. But when you look at like the entire league, a lot of comments have been like, seems like top 2, top 3, and then everyone else. What do you think about that statement of it being like top 3, bottom 7?
I think right now other teams are kind of equal. Maybe G2 is a bit outstanding, and Fnatic as well, really good. But I think H2K is struggling a bit right now. They're going like 1-1. They lost 0-2 against us, so we yet to see them like come back to the top again. And the rest of the teams are just like kind of equal, so that's why we see a lot of 1-1s as well.
Yeah, it seems to be the case. I actually agree with you. But final question here, Chachi. You have been, of course, with the Unicorns of Love for such a long time. I remember like face a tournament like 2.5 years ago. I was casting you guys, but you've been with this lineup now. How do you feel about this lineup in comparison to the other lineups? Where do you think this one stands?
Well, it's really hard to judge, but I can tell the strength of this lineup, and that's like everybody is willing to improve and dedicate themselves to the game. And in terms of that, this is the best lineup we have had so far, because even when we are in a losing streak or something, people just don't get that down to like start fighting with each other or anything like that. So we can always improve even if we are on a losing streak.
That's cool to hear. I mean, Unicorns have already been like a very happy team all the time. But thank you very much for the interview, Chachi. Thank you for taking the time. And we're going to send it now over to the casters to take a look at Play of the Game.
All right, thank you very much, Pulse. Of course, good to hear the team mentality is there, that these guys are remaining positive despite some of those rougher weeks and some of these 1-1 splits overall. But looking back at that last game, got to award a player of the game. And this one, definitely no surprises. We were in agreement on this. Mr. Rawlez coming in huge in this game. I mean,
literally.
Yeah.
It's a tall man.
I
mean, that's
physically very large.
Physically very large, such as his impact on the game. No, a really good use of Deadly Flourish, openings, was aware, was drawing cooldowns to try and stop him from casting that ulti, but then those cooldowns were kind of used haphazardly, and they still won the fight. Schalke complete control of the game, and one of the main drivers for that was Mr. Rawlez this game.
Absolutely, and of course we're going to take a few moments here to break down that game for you with a couple of highlights. And the first blood coming in for Fox, such good coordination.
Well, guess what? It's Praso and Rawlez setting up first. It's Fox realizing there is an opportunity to be taken here, canceling the tunnel. And then, because you can see new tunnel spawns, instantly gets cancelled. But then it was just a really good synergy here. Sprato knows whenever he goes in, he can set up for Mr. Rawlez.
Absolutely, and I like the way that these guys have been playing together. We talk about them as a 2v2 lane, but even in these scenarios where they have to make picks, they call in support from the mid laner, seeing that coordination. And of course, despite the fact that Schalke were in control for the vast majority of the game, Unicorns of Love were able to fight back a little bit.
We have that one play where there was a double TP coming in for 2 kills onto Exile. That was a well-fought fight by Unicorns of Love. But remember, it was still a reactionary fight that stops everything in motion for them, because they're running a 1-3-1 comp, like we keep mentioning it, 1-3-1, 1-3-1, but they just go for a fight here, use both teleports, and now they can't even split up in the map and react to anything going on here. So for using both their teleports, it's only a marginal victory when they're already behind, but it was very well fought by them. Really good target prioritization, and it was potentially way back into the game, but sadly it wasn't enough for Unicorns.
Yeah, we saw for a brief moment Exile was able to start one-shotting those supports, those squishier members, but after, he was always trading blow for blow, kill for kill, and he wasn't able to maintain that lead, wasn't able to keep that going. And now when we fast forward towards the end of the game, when we start to look at these final fights, you can see how little the LeBlanc is able to do.
Such a stark contrast here in terms of teamfight power. Gillis gets engaged on, he just drops out. Once Schalke sees them coming from the front door, there's nothing they can do, and then it's very hard for a lineup like this to move away from some of these speed boosts from Sprattel, the gap closing ability from Fox, and more importantly, the curtain call from Mr. Rawless here. There's always catch potential on the back end of a fight, and then once this Cocoon connected on Veritas, it literally was curtains for the Unicorns lineup.
Yeah.
They were in a very tough spot. It was almost impossible for them to get out of this, so they need to look at 20 minutes before this, 30 minutes before this, how did they end up here?
And reevaluate, too, if 1-3-1 is what they want to commit to, or how they can play around 4-1 without that Shen in the top lane, without these comfort picks coming out. Because, yes, we have seen success from Unicorns of Love in the 1-3-1 in some of those early weeks with Exile, but it has not been recent, and it has definitely not been consistent.
Definitely, they have to, I think, step away from the need to run double teleport 100% in this 1-3-1, and, run an aggressive summoner, or start looking at getting better TPs off. For double sidestone comp, there was not a single proactive TP play made by the Unicorns. And when you're on double sidestone, double TP, it can't be that Schalke is running more proactive plays than you are.
Absolutely. And with that being their final game in Week 5, we're going to have to see how they adapt moving forward as we approach Week 6. But now that Schalke and Unicorns of Love have finished up, we're going to step away for a brief moment. And after the break, it's G2 Esports versus Origin going head-to-head. So stay with us. Down again on the way in. Wall back. Nice. Cancels the tunnel. First blood from Schalke.
Open up the map.
Going down. Oh! Rinse and repeat. We see this every time, but Exile may have paid with his life. Gets knocked back. His Oscar down. Fancy forward. Can he make it? No. It's going to get burned down. Deathfire grasp wins the day. Snare going to miss in the end. Schalke taking control of the base.